Hello, welcome back, and thanks for joining me once again. My name is Matt, and as you can see, we're in the YouTube studio, also known as my garage, mostly because the lighting in here is fantastic. I've got a bunch of shop lights up, so when I'm working on cars or other projects here, I've got a no shadow zone, and it just makes a great place to film. But I'm in the beginning stages of starting a YouTube channel. I'm just starting to get into it, but I thought I'd take a moment to go over some of the equipment, the sound gear, the accessories that go with it. So if you're looking to start a YouTube channel, this is kind of where I got into in some of the beginning equipment. You can certainly start with a lot higher end products that I'm going to cover, and you can certainly start with something as easy as your cell phone. So we're going to go over what I got started with. I'll go over the prices and where I found it, and that way you'll have a better idea of where you can start your gear selection process. So stick around, we got a lot to cover. Let's get after it. Alright, so it wasn't all that long ago that I was looking to start a YouTube channel that coincides with the charter business that I want to get going. And since I have a lot of free time between when I started this process to actually getting my captain's license and starting charters, I thought it would be also a good opportunity for me to learn how to start doing some video editing, video capture, the back end on the production side of things, the YouTube, Facebook channels, the whole gambit. And I'm starting with very, very little knowledge. It was way back in college when I did some video editing, and since then the equipment has gotten a lot better, a lot smaller, and I wanted to bring two different things to get after it and the eventual charter business. I wanted to be able to provide some content to share my journey along the way under the Get After It page, but then I also wanted to get good enough so that way when I am doing charters down the road, I'm able to capture some of those exciting moments. And for that reason, I thought it would be best to start with using some GoPro cameras or action cameras versus just my cell phone, which I have to be holding the entire time that I'm filming. So using the GoPro cameras, I'm able to mount those in different locations. I'm able to capture different moments all simultaneously, and I thought that that was the best start for me. Now certainly if you're wanting to just start your own channel, by all means you can use your cell phone, a DSLR camera, or any other camera that you can get the media off of and onto a computer into some video editing software. I know with your cell phones there's a lot of programs, a lot of apps out there that you can create, edit, and upload that way. I wanted to start a little bit higher off in the equipment side of things than just a cell phone, because if this is the equipment that I'm going to be using and getting familiar with for down the road, I wanted to start with it. So that's kind of where we're at, and I didn't want to break the bank either because I'm just getting new into it. So let's get into it. So for me, when I was looking at cameras, GoPro seemed to be the go-to. They're the biggest name in the industry. They have a great reputation. Their product line is just good. The problem with GoPro though is they're constantly evolving and their technology is constantly changing. So just looking at GoPro specifically, there's a lot of things to research before you settle on a specific camera. Now I didn't want to go out and buy all brand new equipment. So I bought GoPro Hero 7 Black Editions, and I have 3 of those, and I sourced those from 2 different places. I've got one that I ordered from eBay that came out of California. I really don't like using eBay for any reason, but you know, I took the chance and it actually paid off. I found one GoPro Hero 7 with just 2 batteries for $170. And then I found 2 additional GoPro Hero 7 Blacks from the Facebook Marketplace. One had to be shipped in from out west, and one was local right here in my hometown. I was able to go do a basically like a door pickup. I got one off of the Marketplace for $225. It came with a bunch of accessories. I'm going to show you that right now, and I'll blow that up. And then I also got another one for $200, and it came with a microphone. This is a directional microphone, a little handheld floating mount. This will float in the water, and this little desktop style stand that can go up and down just a little bit to sit on your desk. So when I was looking at buying GoPros, I wanted to try to find package deals where they included a lot of the accessories with the camera, and that was going to be less stuff that I'd have to buy. Now since then, of course, there's the Hero 8, Hero 9, Hero 10 that are out. The technology in those is better. Of course, the price ramps up a lot higher when you get into the newer models. But I settled on that GoPro Hero 7 because it does have good stabilization, and they're completely waterproof down, you know, maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 feet. I might be wrong on that, but I know they're waterproof enough for what I'm using them that I don't need to have any additional cases like this one. This is a waterproof case, and we'll get into that a little bit later. One of the other pieces of equipment that I bought to control the GoPros. Now GoPro makes they have an app. You can use the GoPro app to control your cameras, to view your media. You can even go through their app to do some light editing and uploads through the app. But because I have 3 different cameras, the app only controls 1 camera at a time. So I picked up this remote control. This is a GoPro Wi-Fi smart remote, and this controls multiple cameras at the same time. You have to pair them just like you would anything else. But once I hit the record button, it'll simultaneously get all 3 of my cameras to start recording at the same time, and gives me a little bit more ease, so that way if I'm trying to catch certain shots, I can get everything recorded simultaneously. So when I go into post-production on the backside, I can line all those videos up so that it matches the sound. So that GoPro Hero Smart Remote was about $36.98. I got that from eBay, and it was a brand new piece from eBay. It was being sold as used, but it was brand new in the box. And one of the other things that you're going to want to get if you're using any sort of external audio. Now GoPro does have some speakers on their cameras. I have not used the built-in microphones whatsoever at this point in time. All the audio gets fed in through my lavalier mic wirelessly over to the main camera. And so the camera you're watching me on right now, all the sound goes right into that camera. So any of the other cameras, different camera angles that I use in any of my other videos, I'm actually robbing the sound from my primary GoPro to overlay on the video for all the secondary cameras. But you're going to need this guy right here. This is a microphone adapter. There really isn't anything aftermarket on for sale anywhere. This is made by GoPro. It's got a USB-C plug on the end. It's got a USB-C plug, male plug on this side, and your microphone jack on this side. This plugs into the side of the camera. Your microphone plugs into this, so that way as you're talking, the audio is going from my mic to the receiver, down in through this device, and being fed into the GoPro. The disadvantage of using an external microphone in a wet environment is you have to have the side cover left open where this plugs into the charging port essentially. And when that cover is open, that camera is no longer waterproof. So there are some different things you can use to waterproof those connections. I haven't done them yet because I haven't needed to do it. The camera that has the microphone on it is usually mounted in a dry location, so I don't have to worry about that one getting wet at all. But you do want to have this for any sort of external microphones that you're going to be using, whether it's a directional one or like my lavalier mic here, which is an omnidirectional microphone. Now since I don't have, well, I have the camera mounted in it right now, one of the other things I got was, it's called a SmallRig. It's specifically designed for the GoPro Hero 7. I'll show you a picture of what that is right now. And what that does is it holds the GoPro, but it also gives me a spot to hold this device, and then I can also put my receiver for my wireless microphone all in one little rig. And it is adaptable. There's some different accessories you can add to a SmallRig to expand it. You know, maybe put a light on. You can run an additional camera off of it. You can run a bigger external battery pack. There's a lot of different accessories, but that SmallRig has actually shown to be very, very useful for the filming that I'm doing. The SmallRig runs about 50 bucks. Got that right off of Amazon.com. And there is a suction cup mount. I'll show you a picture of that here as well, because right now it is on the boat, so I can't show it to you here in front of me. But it's a little suction cup mount to hold the camera. It sticks perfectly right to the fiberglass, the smooth fiberglass, or the glass on the boat, so I can mount that camera in a bunch of different locations. The last video I did prior to this one, I actually hung the camera and had the suction cup up top versus mounted down below, and it's plenty strong to do that. Let's talk about this wireless mic. So there's one preference that I have seen when I look at different YouTubers and the equipment that they use. There is a brand out there that seems to be highly regarded in the industry, and it is made by Rode, R-O-D-E. The Rode wireless microphone set. That set runs north of $300 by the time you get all the equipment and the microphones and little cables. And I wanted to find a really good, but a lot less expensive option. And so on my research, I found the, I believe it's called SYNCO, S-Y-N-C-O, SYNCO. And what this little microphone unit is there is two transmitters, really tiny transmitters, and then there is another one that looks just like this, which is the receiver. So I have one transmitter on here with my microphone wired up. This is an additional one, and both of those are going to transmit to the receiver side of things for crisp, clear audio. And distance between me and the receiver isn't going to be a problem. I think it's a lot. There's a lot of distance that you can put between yourself and the receiver before it starts to lose signal. And the battery life on these things far exceeds the battery life on any of the GoPros. I can run this microphone all day long without powering it off, without any issues, as where the GoPros, battery life is a bigger issue, where you're maybe getting 30-40 minutes of battery life per battery before you gotta swap them out. But this, we'll see, it's SYNCO. This SYNCO transmitter is it's dual purpose. So I can run a microphone into it, or there's a built-in microphone right here, so I can use it like an interview mic. If you've ever seen some YouTube videos, I've seen these get used. They put them on like the end of a stick to use like a boom microphone. I haven't used the microphone standalone yet. I did test it. The sound quality is adequate, but the sound quality coming out of the Lavalier microphone is much, much better. So that's what I'm using. Nice Lavalier wireless microphone. This kit ran about $189, $189.05, and got that on Amazon as well. And so far, I've really enjoyed using that piece of equipment. One of the other things I had to do is, because all the GoPros that I bought were used, and whenever you buy anything that's used, that's battery powered, the batteries are a little bit of a concern because they do have a lifespan on them. And when you're buying anything used, you don't know how much they were used, how many charge cycles they went through, how long they're going to hold a charge. But I did keep all my original batteries that came with the used units. They seem to hold a charge long enough as backup batteries, but I did buy extra batteries. This is a nice compact battery charger. It's a USB-C connection. It'll hold 3 different batteries on the inside, and you get nice little indicator lights on the front. Green is fully charged, yellow is just about charged, and red needs a much more of a charge. So I did pick up 3 extra batteries. I'm probably going to reorder that same kit again so I can get 3 additional batteries, just because as I've gone through making these videos and seeing how fast these GoPros eat up the batteries, I want to have at least 6 fresh batteries, and then I'll have my old batteries, the used ones, as backups. So get yourself that. That's made by Telesin. Also came from Amazon, ran about $37, 3 batteries with a charger and the USB-C cable. This is just something small. These are little Velcro straps. I use these for mounting cameras in different locations, but more specifically, if we look right here, I have the battery pack plugged into a couple of portable power battery packs. These I can plug directly into the GoPros as well. So if battery life is an issue, I can Velcro strap one of these battery banks to the either to like a mount or to the tripod or somewhere else that's close by. So that way I can get dedicated power directly from this into the GoPro, so battery life isn't as big of a concern. But once again, in order to run power into a GoPro, you have to open up the side door, and that makes that GoPro now not waterproof. So you want to do that in dry environments and you'll be just fine. But those Velcro straps, I mean, it's just something simple, but they're very versatile to help keep things mounted in different positions. So Velcro straps, about 13 bucks for a big pack of them. We'll talk about those chargers. The 2000 milliamp hour portable chargers, it comes as a 2-pack from Amazon, and those were actually pretty inexpensive, $28.75 for two 2000 milliamp hour portable battery packs. Some of the other things I got, you know, I have a scrub brush on the boat when I'm done using the boat, I can wash the boat down, and it's got that threaded end, just like your push brooms or your regular brooms. They've got that threaded end on the bottom, and that's what this is for. This is a pole mount camera adapter. This is $39.50. Screws right onto the bottom of a standard broom handle, and then I had to add these little clips, or these little adapters, because most of the time when you're buying camera accessories, it's going to come with like a tripod screw versus a action camera mount. So I picked up these little guys. These are just a couple dollars. Gives me an adapter to screw onto this, then I can hook my GoPro onto that. And the reason why I got this is I can use this like an aerial shot almost. I have an extension pole, it's about 8 foot long. I can get that GoPro way out in front of me, or I can use that pole to throw the GoPro down underwater to get some underwater shots without having to actually be in the water. It's all aluminum, it's high quality. Now because I'm using it in salt water, even though it's aluminum, I think there's some steel screws and steel pins in here. You want to rinse this down every time you use it so that way it stays nice as long as possible. Now one of my favorite clamps is this guy right here. This has been so versatile in what I am doing. This is also mostly aluminum. I don't know if these screws are stainless. I don't think they are. They're probably just steel. But this is a Ulanzi super clamp, and I have 2 of these, and it's got really wide jaws that open up on it, so I can mount this just about anywhere. And these jaws mount, they're very tight, so you don't have to worry about slippage or anything like that. They do have some little rubber padding on here, so if you're trying to clamp onto something that's like your stainless steel rub rails or your hand rails or anything that could get scratched, these are going to offer a little bit more protection on clamping down. And then this rotates any number of different ways, so I can orient the camera in just about any position I want. And I started with one of these, and I liked it so much and utilized it so much, I wanted to have an additional one. So now I have 2 of these. These are about $20 each, so very inexpensive. And for $20, I'm actually really surprised at the quality of these. The reviews were fantastic, so I pulled the trigger on it, and I've been very happy with that particular mount. Now, of course, there's a bunch of other things that you can get. You know, there's different clips and adapters, and there's just so many different accessories, and I'm going to show you those here in just 1 second. Okay, so when I bought some of these used GoPros, they came with a lot of different accessories, a lot of which I'm probably not going to use, but they're nice to have. You know, there's little chest mounts. I think this was a head mount, goes up over your head. You can mount the GoPro right to that. There's also the chest mounts. I think I've got 2 of those actually, now that I look at it. Got 2 of those. I've also got a chest mount, goes up over the chest, buckles in, and then the camera, there's a clip that goes right here to mount the camera on the chest strap. More Velcro, and this whole bag is just full of of different little clips that you can mount on different accessories. So there's like this guy here. You can put some double stick tape and mount that. I think this one's actually designed for a helmet because it's a little bit rounded. And then you push in a mount clip into that. So there's a lot of different little things. Most GoPros are going to come with this, but these all came from the used GoPros that I purchased. So these were all included. It's just stuff I have. Little silicone cases, you know, things if you're just walking around the beach and you want to have a little bit of a like scratch protection or drop protection, little silicone cases. Let's get into some more of the nitty-gritty here. So we've got 3 different cameras. They're all the same, and I wanted all 3 cameras to be the same so everything was universal. When you start moving into the different GoPros, like the Hero 8 equipment, a lot of it is not compatible with the Hero 7s. The camera itself is a different size. I believe the Hero 5, 6, and 7, everything's pretty well compatible. Before the Hero 5, it's different, and after Hero 7, everything is different. So keep that in mind when you're looking. So I went with 3 of the exact same cameras, so I didn't have to worry about compatibility issues. A lot of these used cameras, they did come with these underwater cases. There's 2 different styles here. Basically the exact same thing. A little bit different mechanism for opening, but these are completely waterproof. And when the camera is in there, you're not going to get any sort of good or usable audio because it's all going to be muffled from that plastic case. But you still have waterproof buttons on the side and on the top, so that way you can still control your GoPro. The touchscreen features you won't be able to use, so you want to make sure that you set your camera up in the correct shooting modes before you put it in the case, so all you're doing is pointing and shooting. And with these, I would highly recommend getting a pack of these anti-fog. They're little tiny slivers that fit right inside this case, but they prevent the camera from fogging up on the inside when you go underwater. Those actually are very, very, very inexpensive, a couple dollars, and worth their weight in gold if you're doing a lot of underwater shooting. And with these cases, let's make a distinction on 2 different types of lens filters. So I have 2 sets of lens filters. This set right here, this is called the SYNCO, S-O-O-N-S-U-N 6-pack lens filters. These were also on Amazon. These ran about $30. And what they are is just little lens filters. So this one is a polarized lens filter. I use this one almost all the time when I'm outside, give you that polarized shot. There's some different color ones in here too for doing color correction when you're doing underwater shots. I'll show you an example of that as well. But it just adds a whole new level to your video quality when you're outdoors with nature scenes. And whether it's underwater or on land, these filters are pretty useful. Now this 6-pack actually goes right over the GoPro lens as it stands. So I don't need any special adapters. It just goes right over the lens and it's set and done. There is another style. These are specifically used for the underwater shots when using the waterproof case. So these are much larger. You see that one's violet. I don't know if you can tell. But much larger lenses or filters, but these are going to clip onto that. Let's see if we can put this on the right way. Or do I have the wrong case? I think I have the wrong case. There we go. It goes this one of these ways. So you see, I'm still learning. So that goes right on like that, and that's going to do a lot of color correction for those underwater shots. That pack was, I think that one was about $20. $20 for a 3-pack. That's all you're really going to need is these 3 different colors for underwater. Came with this really nice little case. It keeps all the lenses separated so they don't scratch each other up. Keeps them dust free, fingerprint free. And that's one of the other things you want to keep note of is when you're handling your cameras, it's nice to have one of those lens cleaner cloths because fingerprints get on the outside lens like crazy, and you want to wipe those off so your shots are nice. The other thing you're going to want to have is some memory cards. These GoPro Hero 7s, they do shoot in 4K, which uses a ton of memory card space. So I have several 128 gigabyte SanDisk cards. You can get those anywhere. Drugstores carry, I mean, you already know, Best Buy. I got mine from Amazon. They ran about $20.40 each on Amazon, and they all come with the little micro USB adapter, or the micro SD card adapters. So that way, if you have the regular SD slots on your computer or the memory card readers, then you can run that that video right off the card. I don't plug my cameras in to the computer to extract the video. I want to have the video on the card. I take the card out, put it into a multi-card reader on the computer, and then I actually extract the video from the memory card and put it on an external hard drive, so I've got it, and then I can clean up my memory cards for use later. And that's one of the things, we'll touch on that just real quick. When you're shooting video on a GoPro Hero 7, it's going to create 3 different files on that memory card. One of them is like a TXT file or something similar to that. It's nothing that we can use. It's a GoPro internal file. So when you're doing a video playback, it actually pulls the low resolution video file that it creates, which is a second style of video. And then the video that I use is the HD version of the video, and that's what gets sent into the Adobe Premiere Pro software. When you're shooting content, what I've noticed is if you're doing a lot of shots, you gotta pretty much remember, anytime you create a clip, it's gonna create 3 files. And when you go back into the memory card and you open it all up, you're going to see files everywhere. They're not going to necessarily be in order unless you do the date selection range. And GoPro gives them generic video titles. And the biggest challenge with running 3 cameras is if I have blank memory cards and I start shooting on that camera, and this camera, they're all going to get the exact same file name for that first file. And then if I do another clip, they're all going to have the same name for the second clip. So it makes it a little bit challenging when you're doing post-production to figure out, am I using camera 1, camera 2, or camera 3, because all the files are the same. So I actually have them set up separately on my computer, so all the video from camera 1 gets put into one file, all the video from camera 2, camera 3, and I basically just work one file at a time when I'm doing post-production. Hopefully there's somebody out there that can give me some tips, because I am definitely not an expert in any of this. I'm still learning and getting familiar with it and going through the process myself. So memory cards, I have 3 for each, one for each camera. Then I have a couple smaller ones as backups if I need them. So far I haven't even come close to using up the 128 gigabytes. The tripod, monopod, that's what that camera's sitting on right now. It's a standalone monopod, or you can screw it into a tripod base. I'll show you a picture of that as well. It's actually a pretty neat little inexpensive camera accessory. The tripod ran right around $37. Now there's way more expensive ones and a couple that are a little bit less expensive, but I like this one because it gets nice and compact in a carrying case, and I can fit it right here in my gear bag. We already talked about the battery packs. Of course, one of the things I would also recommend when you're using these GoPros is pick up some extra USB-C cables. These are USB to USB-C. The boat has a bunch of USB outlets on it. The truck has USB-C outlets on it. I've got a couple 6-footers, a couple 10-footers, a couple little short 1-footers, but you can never have enough of these cables, it seems like, because these get utilized quite a bit, in all honesty. Those run a couple bucks. I mean, you can spend as little as $5 or $6 for a cord, all the way up on the high end of the spectrum. I mean, you already know how it is when you're pricing things out. There's high end, low end. I kind of went low, high side to mid-range on most of what I'm doing. So if we look over here, this is another one of these cases. This is the little brother to the SmallRig, essentially. The SmallRig is a nice aluminum housing that the camera sits in. This is a plastic one. This came with one of the used GoPros, so I didn't have to actually buy it. I couldn't tell you how much these things run. But this particular plastic case also gives you room to store this microphone adapter. I think it goes on this side, so that it's out of the way. The problem is, we gotta put it in wire first. That's the problem. You gotta fish this wire through, because then that plugs in over on this side. In order to use this specific case, you have to take that whole door off. Same with the SmallRig though, you have to take that whole door off. And that would be the next topic, is that little door. These little side doors, they're on the side of the camera. This is right where it would plug in. And these little tiny clips on here, right here, it's a little like half moon shaped clip. These doors come on and off really easily. GoPro was smart in how they design these, but you can break that little clip. So if you're using any sort of the GoPros and you're opening that door a lot, it would be smart, go ahead and pick up a couple extra replacement door covers because you're gonna need them. Well, you see we got this little tripod mount here that this is attached to. This actually came with one of the used GoPros. So again, I can't tell you how much it cost because it came with one of the GoPros, but we can bend these all different sorts of ways. We can hook it, we can do whatever. I've got it set obviously as the table mount so you can see. I haven't used this one for anything yet, but it does collapse down in like a GoPro handle, so you can use it like a selfie stick. Very versatile. I do like it. I just, if I didn't already get one with a used GoPro, I probably would have bought one of those. We kind of talked about this guy here. This came with one of the used GoPros as well. Little selfie stick. I have actually used this one when I did the video at Peanut Island underwater. This came in the water with me. And what I like about this, besides that you can put it around your wrist and still swim with it, is that when the camera is attached, this floats just like this. So you can throw the camera in the water and it's just floating along. You can position that camera angle however you want. This I'd highly recommend getting one of these if you don't already have one. Of course, this guy here, this is a flexible mount. This is called the Ulanzi Super Clamp mount. This came from Amazon. This is $20, and this we can move in different positions as well. This is a super strong clamp. It also has the rubber on the inside, so that way you're not scratching up anything that's delicate, like those stainless steel rails or anything that you don't want to have scratched. I've actually found though that this clamp gets utilized a lot more as of right now than this one. But this one does give you some multiple ways that you can change the angles of the camera. Of course, I've got my gear bag. This is just a computer bag. I've had a hard time trying to find good camera gear storage solutions. A lot of them are designed for like the DSLR cameras, but nothing really for the GoPros and all the little tiny accessories. But I found that this bag right here, this is actually an Amazon Basics computer bag. I've had it. I don't know how much it costs. It's been sitting for years and never really got utilized. So all my gear is in here, a change of clothes, you know, in case I need it. But all my camera gear can fit into this bag, with the exception of the case. If I put the case inside the bag, I don't have room for anything else. So generally all the accessories go in here, and then my camera gear and the equipment that I readily use all the time goes into this case, and we'll talk about that. Now, of course, you guys have all seen these. These all come with GoPros. These came with the used GoPros. They're just extra little cases. This is a single camera case. This is a double camera case. And this right here, I wish there was a better solution out there for. This particular case is designed for 2 cameras, and it ran $80 for this. And when I was searching for a good waterproof case, it's really hard to get an idea of the size of these things based on the pictures or even the reviews. So I went ahead and ordered this because everybody seemed to have really high opinions about this box itself. And when I got it, I was kind of surprised at really just how small it was. Now it does have a lower, we got to take this guy off. It does have a lower compartment down in the bottom. It's not very deep. It's only a couple inches deep below the tray that sits in there, but it is deep enough to be able to hold this mount. I can hold my pole mount on there. I can put both of my Ulanzi mounts in there. I can keep my standard lens filters in there and my little 3-pack of lens filters in there, along with all my extra batteries. I usually keep my wireless microphone and transmitter in here as well with the remote control. and a couple charging cables. So everything else goes in the bag, but that's the stuff I use all the time, so that goes in the case. Now I did modify this one. Like I said, this one was designed for 2 cameras, and if I flip this up here, I have it notched out a little bit differently than the way it came. I'll put a product link in the video here, but I basically modified this to fit my needs. So I can fit both of these cameras that are sitting in front of me. I can fit both of those inside of a case right in here. So we'll just kind of demonstrate real quick. So imagine a camera inside each one of these. Ooh, I think I got that in sideways. So I can put 2 cameras in there just like that, usually with inside the case, so I'm not taking up more room by having the camera separate from the case. And then the camera with the SmallRig housing and the microphone adapter all sits in right here with all my microphone and microphone cables that go right here. I can hold 6 batteries, my transmitter, receiver, and my GoPro remote. So this foam I just cut, so I had to modify it. It's not the best solution if you ask me, but I keep all my expensive camera gear nice and secure. It's watertight. It's not going to rattle around and scratch up. So it fits the bill, and it's small enough to bring on the boat. So overall, I would say I'm satisfied with it, but I wish there was another option. So now what we've got our gear. So you heard this one. This one is actually running off the remote. Now it just shut off because the battery's dead. The other one has a fresh battery in it, so I think I've got a little bit time left. So now we've got all of our gear. The next step is the office. So in the office, I have a couple different pieces that I added to my laptop. So if you don't already have a laptop, you're going to probably want one. If you're going to be using any sort of video editing software, and do your research on your laptop. You want to make sure that the components, the hard drive, the memory, the RAM, all that stuff is going to meet the needs of running HD video and uploads and things like that. So I already had the computer. What I added to be able to kind of complete the package, I added a WD 2 terabyte hard drive. So all the video gets extracted off the GoPros and gets put on the hard drive. All my final production videos get put on that hard drive, and eventually that 2 terabytes is going to fill up really fast. So I'll just add multiple terabytes so I can keep my library. 2 terabyte hard drive ran $60 from WD. I think WD is Western Digital. They're one of the biggest memory suppliers out there. I also got a, what does that say? It's made by SynCO. It's a memory card reader, so I can actually put in all my memory cards into the card reader at once, so that way it's easier to go back through and extract files from the GoPros. So I have memory card slot 1, memory card slot 2, memory card slot 3, but that just makes it easy because I can label those slots and go, okay, this is the interview camera, this is the secondary camera, and this is the third camera, and I can kind of keep things a little bit organized. I also have a powered USB hub, a multi-powered hub. We'll show you that here in just a moment. And the reason why I got that hub was the computer only has 2 USB ports. So everything requires power. Each camera needs to be either plugged in, or the battery chargers need to be plugged in. I have 2 battery chargers. The external battery packs, they need to be plugged in to be recharged. The remote control needs to be plugged in and charged. The transmitters and receivers need to be plugged in and charged. So I mean, I've got 6 or 7, 8, I don't know, somewhere in there, USB slot expansion, so that way I can have everything done all at the same time. That ran about $30. The cables, I will go back, the cables ran $10 for a 2-pack, so pretty cheap on the USB to USB-C cables. And then the door cover replacement we touched on earlier. That door cover replacement runs $11.39. You get 2 in a pack. And then I've got a couple of miscellaneous office supplies. I think I got about $100 worth of other little miscellaneous things like these. These are little USB-C to USB adapters, because some of my cords are USB-C on both ends. And some of them are USB on the end and USB-C on the other. So I've got my adapters. So all in total, 3 cameras, all the little mounts, hardware, the remote control, the microphone, everything that I've got in totality runs about $1,600. For a lot of people, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for me. I'm not making any money right now, so $1,600 investment was a sizable investment, but when we look at cost over time, that's going to be a little bit cheaper than starting off with maybe a cell phone and kind of piecing and parting things together and then having to upgrade later anyway. I wanted to start with equipment that would get me going on a more professional level that I could learn and grow with, and could basically handle all the needs that I could foresee coming up. Now obviously I'd love to have those GoPro Hero 10s or the Hero 9s. They're great cameras, but for what I'm doing, not really necessary. So if you're wanting to start off, I would think for one camera and the accessories that you need just to kind of really get going, you're going to probably be in that $800–900 range. $1,600 for 3 cameras, not terrible. And then the new ones, of course, you can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on gear. So do your research, take a look at it. This is what I've got. If you have any questions for me or you want to talk about something more in depth, please let me know. Shoot me a message. I will absolutely respond to them. But this is it in a nutshell. We'll see you on the next one.